high-ranking martial arts, such as Xiao Yihun, a well-known genius from the Xiao family, is the Huang-ranking fire cloud python. Once an attack is launched, the fire cloud python is manipulated, and the flames are skyrocketing, and the enemy can be swallowed and burned instantly. It can be said that Wuhan is the most important thing in this world. It determines the future of the warrior, the speed of cultivation, the means of attack, and the strength of combat. In short, the more powerful the martial soul is awakened, the stronger the talent of this martial artist, and the easier it is to become a strong one in the future. Martial artist, martial soul. Xiao Yi grinned. Interesting. Although he is dead, it may be wonderful to be able to come into this world in the future. However, the next second, the smile on the corner of his mouth instantly freezes, even dumbfounded, because he slightly sensed the martial soul in his body. Wuhan exists beside the dantian in the martial artist's body, and now beside his dantian, there was a ball-like silly thing, emitting a faint red light. Qi rank martial arts soul, control fire beast. Nima, are you kidding me? Xiao Yi almost cursed. Fire control beast, the name seems to be very good. But in fact, this is the lowest level monster in the wilderness. Strictly speaking, it is a shame and trash among monsters, because it is very likely that it can't even beat ordinary beasts. Staying silly all day, feeding on weak animals such as rabbits. Even a ferocious wolf and tiger can swallow it in one bite. Even an ordinary adult who has no cultivation level can kick it flying. My grass brother, you actually awakened this thing. No wonder you were always scolded in waste. Xiao Yi was speechless. Fire control beast, known as the most trash martial soul. Even in the lowest level key rank martial arts, that is the bottom of the existence, worse than domestic animal martial arts spirits such as pigs, dogs, cattle, and sheep. At least those domestic animal spirits can also provide the warrior with a certain increase in strength. As for the fire control beast, the only thing bestowed on the martial artist is the ability to control fire. Xiao Yi tried it on the spot and manipulated the martial soul in his body, and a small group of flames suddenly popped out of his palm. However, this small group of flames, in Xiao Yi's previous life, was inferior to a lighter, not to mention being used to attack. It would be a hindrance to use to set fire. Other martial artists at the age of 16 have at least the 3 levels of cultivation in the mortal realm, but he only has the weakest mortal realm 1. Other martial artists, like the children in the Xiao family, are generally orange-ranked martial arts. They are those with poorer aptitude, and they are also the more useful martial arts in the red stage. Discover. New stories on Novel.com. He awakened the most useless fire control beast. No wonder he has the title of young patriarch, but he is bullied by his family's children and looked down upon by everyone. Wuhan almost determines the life of the martial artist. Forget it. Rely on the mountains and landslides, and everyone will fall. Xiao Yi wiped away the unhappiness in his heart. His eyes were full of pride. With my unique body shape and Xingyiquan skills, even if I don't rely on martial arts, I can still break through this world. A piece of sky that belongs to me. Xiao Yi retracted the poor flame in his palm, too lazy to look at the martial soul in his body. At this moment, he suffocated suddenly. Huh? Xiao Yi frowned. Then his face changed drastically, because besides the dantian in the body, besides the weak fire-controlling beast spirit, there is actually another mass. That thing in the shape of a sword exuded a dazzling purple light, and it was still deep purple. His is the Bingluan sword. How did it become my martial soul, and it's still a purple martial soul? Xiao Yi was pleasantly surprised. The Bingluan sword was not something of this world, but the chief culprit that caused Xiao Yi to die on the earth. Yes, the Chinese cultural relic that Xiao Yi wanted to take back was this Bingluan sword. How could this happen? Even though Xiao Yi had seen people before, he couldn't understand it. A few days ago, when Xiao Yi received the news and before he shot it, he checked the artifact. However, with his ability as the uncrowned king of the killer world, he couldn't even find out the slightest news about Bingluan's sword. All I know is that the origin of this sword is extremely mysterious. There is no historical record, but some myths and legends are left behind. It is said that this is a treasure that countless immortals and gods fought desperately for in ancient times. At that time, Xiao Yi still sneered at these myths and legends, but now he has changed his mind. It seems that your origins are indeed extraordinary. Moreover, if I can safely travel into this world and regain my new life, your contribution is definitely indispensable. Xiao Yi guessed, but in fact he was very sure in his heart. Twin martial souls, one of them is the most powerful purple martial soul, Tisk. Xiao Yi's originally depressed mood turned into a glimmer of expectation. Xiao Yi learned from the memory in his mind. The girl's name is Yi, 15 years old this year. Since her parents were both dead since childhood, Xiao Yi's father thought she was pitiful. So he bought it back for Xiao Yi as a close maid. When she was a child, Yi was very cute and well-behaved and sensible. It's just that Xiao Yi is a typical trash, and whenever he is bullied outside, he will come back and spread his chi on Yi's head. Yi was often abused by him. He didn't have enough to eat or put on warm clothes, so he naturally became yellow and thin. Moreover, the day before Xiao Yi was pushed down the cliff, Xiao Yi beat her severely, so her face was still green and red. Sigh. Xiao Yi sighed, regretting his behavior just now. Why did Lao Zi's famous name belong to such a trash boy? Xiao Yi felt disgusted with this body for the first time. Not long after, a middle-aged man rushed into the room. Xiao Zhong, the third elder of the Xiao family, used to be the confidant of Xiao Yi's father. Now he is acting as the head of the family. The young Xiao Yi was raised by the three elders after his father mysteriously disappeared. Wake up, really awake, great. Xiao Zhong was so anxious that he couldn't stop talking with joy. If Yi has any shortcomings, how will I explain to the patriarch in the future? Xiao Zhong sat on the side of the bed and looked at Xiao Yi seriously. When he saw that Xiao Yi's breath was stable and there was no serious problem, the heart that had been hanging was released. Xiao Yi's father has been missing for many years, but Xiao Zhong has always taken care of Xiao Yi. At this time, Xiao Zhong seemed to think of something, and the joy on his face suddenly changed to sadness. Hey Yi, why are you so careless? You can fall into the cliff when you wander around in the back mountain. Alas, you are in a coma these days, in the family. Xiao Zhong looked sad and wanted to say something, but looking at Xiao Yi's appearance, he suddenly stopped talking. Forget it. You just woke up. You should rest more. The other elders are still waiting for me to go back to chair the family meeting. After that, Xiao Zhong took out a bag of things from his arms, placed it on the table, and took a deep look at Xiao Yi before slowly leaving. Xiao Yi obviously noticed that Xiao Zhong's vision was very complicated, caring and loving, but more sad. After Xiao Zhong left, Xiao Yi asked Yi on the side, Yi, what's the matter? Yi came back with Xiao Zhong. At this time, he was blowing the medicine carefully. The medicine was too hot, and it was warm enough to be taken by Xiao Yi. Hearing Xiao Yi's question, Yi raised his head. His expression hesitated and hesitated. What is going on? Xiao Yi frowned and asked. Yi hesitated and said in a low voice, Master, you just woke up and your body is weak again. Take some medicine and rest later. The three elders will take care of family matters. Let's talk. Xiao Yi said. This. Yi lowered her head, pinching the corner of her clothes embarrassedly. Say, Xiao Yi scolded. Yi slapped Xiao Yi and couldn't help but honestly said, Master, you have been in a coma these days. Miss Jiao came to visit and withdrew your marriage. Afraid that Xiao Yi could not bear the blow, Yi quickly added, Master, you were in a coma for a few days, and everyone felt that you were not saved. Miss Jiao was also thinking about her own happiness. Now that you wake up, just tell Jiao Miss Sun. She will definitely change her mind. Heh. Xiao Yi smiled and said lightly, I thought she wouldn't change her mind because of what's wrong, and that kind of vicious woman would only be good if she retired. Ah. Yi was taken aback and thought to himself, young master wouldn't have broken his brain, right? Miss Jiao is the most beautiful woman in the city, the daughter of Murong's family, which man is not tempted. There are three major families in Ziyun City, the Xiao family, the Murong family, and the Zhang family. Anything else? Xiao Yi continued to ask. Yi replied, there are also elders in the family who said that you will abolish your position as the young patriarch. Xiao Yi suddenly. The former Xiao Yi, with low talent and poor personality, was not worthy of being a young family at all. All the elders looked down on him and were very dissatisfied with him. This time, if you went to the back mountain, you could also go down the cliff. It was the best thing in the waste, and it spread out and put the entire Xiao family to shame. The elders naturally would not let him sit down in the position of young patriarch. The so-called no wind and no waves, this matter must be promoted. Xiao Yi sneered. He knew that, even if he told the truth, he was pushed down the cliff by Xiao Yihun. No one in the Xiao family would believe it. After all, one is a waste, a family shame. One is a family genius with a bright future. Master, the medicine is ready to drink. Yi picked up the medicine and prepared to feed it to Xiao Yi. Visit n0velbind.com for the best novel reading experience. At this moment, there was a rush of footsteps and noise outside the door. Xiao Yi's waist is big enough to be dead, and he won't die if he falls from the back mountain. It's just right that you can't die. That trash is dead. We won't have so much fun in the future. A wave of mocking and disdainful words came. With a bang, the door was roughly kicked open, and two teenagers walked in. Xiao Ji, Xiao Shi. Xiao Yi frowned. Xiao Ji, son of the 7 elders, Xiao Shi, son of the 8 elders. After all, they were Xiao Yi's cousin. However, they never regarded Xiao Yi as a cousin, bullying him everywhere and snatching his cultivation resources. In the past, the light was insulting and teasing everywhere. The heavy was beaten, and Xiao Yi was wounded all over his body. Sure enough, the 3 elders gave this waste to the cultivation resources. Xiao Jie saw the bag of things on the table at a glance. Every month, the children of the Xiao family can get the silver liang and pill given by the family to help the children cultivate better. Get out of here immediately. Xiao Yi stared at the two coldly. Oh, trash, I'm getting angry. Ha, this wastefulness is not because you broke your brain after falling down the mountain. Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi mocked with disdain and walked towards Xiao Yi domineeringly. They have become accustomed to snatching Xiao Yi's training resources and bullying Xiao Yi. You two big bad guys don't want to hurt young Master Xiao Yi. Yi blocked the bed. Yi casually took a stick beside the bed and waved it randomly, trying to frighten Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi and protect the weak Xiao Yi. These 5 styles derived from thousands of styles of play are hailed by Xiao Yi as the 5 unique Xingyi. They are tiger-shaped, leopard-shaped, snake-shaped, crane-shaped, and the strongest rising dragon. With these 5 musts, he has managed to cross the earth, rarely meets opponents. Although only the first level of the mortal realm had the slightest strength, but relying on the 5 supernatural powers of form and intent, he easily defeated Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi. Do you want to die? Xiao Yi tore both claws, making the wound on Xiao Shi's chest wider. Suddenly, gurgling blood flowed from Xiao Shi. Ah. Shh. Am I going to die? Ah. Shut up, don't yell like Zhao Qin. Xiao Yi glared at Xiao Shi. On the other side, Xiao Ji looked at Xiao Shi miserably and trembled all over. After all, these two people are just flowers in the greenhouse. How can they ever see such scenes? Di Yi's face was also pale, but he was more concerned about Xiao Yi. Humph! Xiao Yi retracted his claws and blasted Xiao Shi to the ground beside Xiao Ji with a punch. Don't kill us. Xiao Ji's legs were so frightened that he didn't even have the strength to stand up. Little waste. No, Xiao Yi, we are from the same family. Xiao Shi begged for mercy, covering the wound. They clearly saw a strong killing intent in Xiao Yi's eyes. At this moment, they could feel that Xiao Yi in front of him was not like a trash at all, but like an executioner with blood in his hands, making them feel frustrated. Don't kill you? Xiao Yi sneered and said, in these years you have robbed my cultivation resources, and now you still want me to spare you? No. It's not, Xiao Ji retorted with a trembling. Xiao Yi, after all, we are your cousin. How could we your things? We used to be anxious to practice and borrow some from you. Yes, I borrowed it, not grabbing it. Xiao Shi also said immediately. Okay, I borrowed it. Xiao Yi nodded and said, then the borrowed one over the years should be returned. Also, we must pay, as long as you let us go. Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi Ruming said immediately. 12,000 per person, pay back immediately. Xiao Yi sneered. 12,000. The two opened their eyes. Why, how so many? Xiao Yi was startled. Yes, the silver tael per month is only 20 taels and the pill is about 30 taels, and if it reaches the sky in a month, it is 50 taels. 600 taels a year. Xiao Yi gave them a fierce look and interrupted, since you are borrowing, you are not allowed to charge interest. Haven't you heard of Ligunli? You have robbed me of my things since I was 8 years old. Years. It's only 10,000 tael per person. I think it's cheaper for you. Xiao Yi sneered. To this, Xiao Shi and Xiao Jie cursed secretly. They were clearly talking about us. How could it feel like we were taking advantage? But we can't get 10,000 taels. Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi had a wishful thinking in their hearts, thinking that they couldn't spend so much money and Xiao Yi couldn't help them. If you can't get the money, then go to death. Xiao Yi closed both palms, showing incomparable killing intent, and directly attacked them. No, do not want. Xiao Ji Xiao Shi looked at Xiao Yi's bloodthirsty gaze, knew that Xiao Yi was not joking, and immediately begged for mercy. Will you owe it first? Yes. Xiao Yi retracted his palm and said with a smile, Yi, take the paper and pen, so that these two guys won't fall back on the bill. Yes, Master Xiao Yi. Yi nodded and immediately prepared paper and pen. Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi reluctantly wrote down the outstanding bills. Xiao Yi picked up the owed bill and nodded in satisfaction as they watched the touching. Get out of here. Xiao Yi said, I remind you that the bill has been written down and the debt is repaid. It is fair and honest. It is useless to find the family elder. Remember it and raise enough money as soon as possible. I don't care whether you steal or rob. If you don't raise enough money, just wait for me to kill you. Xiao Yi confessed coldly and let the two leave. In fact, Xiao Yi hadn't planned to kill them from the beginning, just to make them pay back and get more benefits. I know from memory that the cultivation of martial artists is extremely resource-intensive. The more money, the richer the resources, and the easier and faster to practice. After Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi left, he circled outside Xiao Yi's yard and finally stopped in front of a teenager. The young man was handsome, but there was a gloomy coldness between his brows. Cousin Ruohan, we failed. That little waist somehow became so powerful. Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi probably said something, but he didn't tell him about the bills he owed. No one knew that in the corner, Xiao Yi was staring at the three people coldly. With his hiding ability, unless someone walks in front of him, he will never be found. He had already guessed that the arrival of Xiao Ji and Xiao Shi today was a bit abnormal, so after the two of them left, he secretly followed. Sure enough, it's this guy who is doing the trick again. Xiao Yi sneered in his heart. Better not to mess with me, otherwise I don't mind sending you two in advance. Xiao Yi murmured, and then left the corner. From beginning to end, the three of Xiao Ruohan did not notice his existence.